Hello children, we are in the fourth chapter, heat. So in this video, we will learn about transfer of heat. Transfer of heat means to carry heat from one object to another object, or to carry heat from one part of an object to the other part. It is called transfer of heat. Now heat can be transferred in three ways: conduction, convection and radiation. So in this video we will learn about conduction, convection and radiation. So let us start with the first one, conduction. In this picture you can see a metal spoon and a metal spoon is placed on the burner. If we heat one end of the metal spoon by keeping it over a gas burner, okay, so we find that the other end, the end which we are holding, becomes hot after some time. So over here what is happening? Heat is getting transferred from one end to the other end, or you can say the heat is getting transferred from hot part to the cold part. In this picture you can see there are two spoons, one is hot spoon, another is cold spoon. Now if we bring the hot end of one spoon in contact with the cold end of other spoon, but touching them with each other, can find that some of the heat is transferred from the hot spoon to the cold spoon, and over here there is no movement of the material, and such a transfer of heat is called as conduction. The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. Okay, and in this conduction there is no movement of the material. This transfer of heat, that is conduction, it takes place only in solids. Why only in solids? Because we know in solids the particles are tightly packed. The particles are in fixed position and they vibrate only in that fixed position. So during conduction, heat is transferred from one particle to another particle by these vibrations. So in solid, particles are in fixed position. There is no actual movement of the particles. So heat is transferred from one particle to the another particle only by vibrations. Now this conduction, it cannot take place in liquid and gas. Why? Because in liquid and gas, the particles move freely. They are not in a fixed position. They can move freely. Okay. There is an activity. In this picture you can see we have a metal rod. Let us say aluminium rod. And some iron nails are attached to this metal rod with the help of wax. And a lighted candle is placed. So as the metal rod gets the heat from the candle, okay, as the heat is transferred from one end to the other end, the iron nail starts falling one by one. So here what is happening? Okay, let us say the left side of the aluminium rod is heated. So the heat is traveling from the left side to the right side. So as the heat is traveling, okay, when this heat comes in contact with the wax, okay, the wax starts melting and the iron nail falls down. So as heat is getting transferred from the hot end to the cold end, the wax starts melting and the nail falls down one by one. So from this we can conclude that heat is transferred from the hot end of the aluminium rod to its colder end by the process of conduction. Okay. Now in this picture you can see there is a beaker containing hot water. Now in this beaker there are two spoons, one is metal spoon and other is plastic spoon. Now after some time, when you touch the top end of the metal spoon, it feels somewhat hot. But when you touch the top end of the plastic spoon, it does not feel hot. Why is this so? This is because the heat flows easily or it passes easily through the metal spoon, because of which we can feel the top end hot. But in case of plastic, heat does not flow through plastic. Okay, it does not pass through plastic easily. So the top end of the plastic spoon does not feel hot. Now all materials will not allow heat to pass through them. Some materials will allow heat to pass through them and some materials will not allow heat to pass through them. So on the basis of conduction of heat, all materials can be classified into two groups. Good conductors are those materials which allow heat to pass through them easily. Example, all metals are good conductors like aluminium, copper, silver, gold. Okay, these are all examples of good conductors of heat. Now bad conductors are those materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily. Example, rubber, plastic, glass, wood, paper, cotton, water, air. These are all examples of poor conductor or bad conductor of heat. Okay. Now there are some materials, okay, some good and poor conductors of material which we use in our day-to-day life. First one is frying pan. The bottom of the frying pan is made up of metal and the handle is made up of plastic. Now when you heat the frying pan, the base or the bottom of the bottom of the pan becomes hot. Because it is made up of metal, metal will allow the heat to pass through them. But the handle is made up of plastic. Plastic will not allow heat to pass through them. Okay, so we can lift this hot utensil or hot frying pan with the help of the plastic handle. Second is iron box. The base of the iron box is made up of metal and the handle is made up of plastic. Okay, so when this electric iron it gets hot, the plastic handle remains cold so that we can hold the iron box safely. Table mat. Table mat, they are usually poor conductors because they are made up of plastic. Table mat protects the tabletop from hot dishes. Okay, so this was conduction. Okay, we have seen that transfer of heat in solid takes place by conduction. Now let us see how heat is transferred in liquid and gases. So it takes place by convection. Now convection is the transfer of heat from the hotter parts of the liquid or gas to its colder parts by the movement of the liquid or gas itself. It means that the liquid or gas, because of their movement, the heat is transferred from hot parts to the colder part. Now this convection cannot take place in solids. Why? Because we know in solids the particles are at fixed place and they cannot move about freely. Convection can take place only in liquid and gases because the particles of liquid and gases are not in fixed position and they can move about freely. So we will now describe the transfer of heat by convection, okay, through a common example. Okay, that is a common example of liquid is water and common example of air, gas is air. Now the first one is convection in water. In this picture you can see there's a beaker. There's a beaker, or you can say a vessel containing water, and the vessel is placed on a gas burner. Okay, the burner is at the bottom of the vessel, but still the whole water gets heated. So let's see what happens over here. Okay, so when we heat this vessel or container, the water at the bottom of the beaker becomes heated. Okay, it expands and it becomes light. So as it becomes light, it starts floating. It starts rising upwards. And as it rises upwards, it carries heat along with it. Now the cold water on the top, it is dense, so it will sink downwards and it will take the place of the hot water. Now this cold water, it gets heat, it expands and it becomes lighter. Okay, and then this cold water, it will start rising upwards and it will carry heat along with this. And more cold water which is there on the top, it will sink downwards and then they will take the place of the hot water. They will rise up. So this process of hot water rising upwards and cold water sinking downwards take place again and again, due to which the water in the beaker or the vessel gets heated uniformly. You can see in the picture the circulatory movement. Okay, the circulatory movement of water is called as convection current. Okay, this convection current, it transfers heat from water at the bottom to the top of the beaker. Okay, so water in a beaker is heated by convection current. Now let us see how air, okay, how transfer or how heat is transferred in air. Now you can see in this picture there is a heater placed at one corner of the room. So during winter season we place room heater in one corner of the room and the whole room gets heated. So let's see what happens over here. The mechanism is same as that in water. So when heater is kept on the floor, okay, in the switched on position, the air near the heater gets heated. It expands and it becomes lighter. So this lighter air will rise upwards and it will carry heat along with it. Okay. Now the cold air above, it is dense, so it will sink downwards and it will take the place of the hot air. Okay. Now this cold air also gets heat from the heater. So it will expand, it will become light and it will rise upwards. So as it is rising upward, it will carry heat along with it. And more cold air which is there on the top, will sink downwards and it will occupy the place of the hot rising air. So this process of hot air rising upwards and cold air sinking downwards takes place again and again, due to which all the air in the room gets heated uniformly. And this circulatory movement of air is called convection current. Okay, so a room heater heats all the air in a room by setting up convection currents in the air. Okay, now you must have visited a beach. Have you wondered that this beach, they always have breeze? There's always breeze flowing in the beaches. Okay, the people, those who live in these coastal areas, they experience an interesting phenomena called sea breeze and land breeze. And these both breezes are based on the transfer of heat in air by convection. Okay, by the convection current. So let's see what happens. Now this sea and land, okay, they both have special feature. The special feature of land is that this land gets hot very quickly. Okay? Due to sun's heat or sun's ray, the land gets hot very quickly. And when the heat goes away, it gets cooled very quickly. The special feature of sea is that it takes time to get hot. And once it is warm, it takes time to cool down. Okay, so these are the special features of land and sea. Now, during daytime, due to sun's ray or due to sun's heat, the land gets pretty hot very quickly and sea takes time to get hot. Okay, you can see in the picture. So during daytime, what happens? During daytime, the land is hot and the sea is warm. Okay. Now the air around the air that is around the land, even it becomes very hot. Okay, the land is much hotter and sea is cooler. Okay, now the air that is near the land, it becomes hot. Okay, so this hot air, as it becomes this hot air, it rises up. The air near the sea is cool. Okay, so as the breeze or as this cool air comes from the sea, it takes the place of hot air. This hot air, it will rise up. When it comes near the sea, it will become cool. It will descend into the sea. Okay, so let's see what happens during daytime. Okay, during daytime, due to sun's heat, the land becomes hot. Okay, and the sea takes time to become hot. So I can say that the land is hot and the sea is cool. So the air near the land becomes hot. Okay, it starts rising upwards. And the air near the sea is cool. So it will move towards the land and occupy the place of the hot air. So the hot air, as it comes in contact with the sea, it becomes cool and it will descend towards the sea. Okay, so this cycle continues. So as a result, we have cool sea breeze. Okay, the breeze that is blowing from sea towards the land is called sea breeze. Okay, so during daytime we get this cool sea breeze. But in night time the condition is reverse. At night time, there is no sun. So as a result, the land gets pretty cool very fast. And the sea is warm. Why? Because it takes time to cool down. Now, air is cool, the land is cool, so the air near the land is cool, and the air near the sea is warm. So the warm air from the sea, it will start rising up, okay, and it will come towards the land. Now the cool air from the land, it will occupy the place of the hot air. As the warm air from the sea, it is coming towards the land, it will become cool because of the coolness of the land, and it will descend and move towards the sea. Okay. So let's see what happens. So during night time, there is no sun, so the land becomes cool very fast. So the air near the land also becomes cool. And in sea, the sea is still warm because it takes time to cool down. So the air near the sea is warm. So this warm air will start rising up. And the cool air from the land, it will move towards the sea and it will occupy the place of the hot air. Okay. As this warm air reaches the land, it will become cool because of the coolness of the land, and it will move towards the sea. So this cycle continues. Okay. The breeze that is blowing from land towards sea is called land breeze. So remember, during daytime, the breeze blows from sea to land, and it is called sea breeze. And at night time, the breeze blows from land towards sea, and it is called land breeze. Okay, so this was convection. Now the third way or third mode of transfer of heat is called radiation. Now in this picture, you can see there is a bulb that is glowing, and you can see a hand below the bulb. Okay, so when we switch an electric bulb, okay, the bulb becomes hot and it gives heat and light. When we keep our hand below the bulb at a short distance, even we can feel the heat on our hand. So this means that the hot glowing bulb is transferring some of its heat to our hand. But this transfer of heat, it cannot take place by conduction, because in conduction, we know air is a poor conductor of heat, so it will not conduct heat. Now this transfer of heat cannot take place by convection, because we know in convection the hot air, it travels upwards, but our hand is kept, it is below the bulb. So this transfer of heat cannot take place by convection. So how is this transfer of heat taking place? Now every hot object, it gives out invisible heat radiations in all directions. These heat rays carry heat energy. So when this heat rays falls on a cold object, the cold object receives heat energy and it gets heated. Okay, so you can say that the heat energy is transferred from hot object to cold object by the means of heat rays, and that is called as radiation. Radiation is a transfer of heat energy from hot body to cold body by means of heat rays without any material medium between them. Now this radiation, that is this transfer of heat energy, it can take place even in vacuum. Vacuum means empty space, where there is no particles like we have in solid, liquid or gas. So this transfer of heat by radiation, it can take place whether a medium is present or not. So it can take place in vacuum as well as it can take place in solid, liquid or gas. Okay. Now the best example of transfer of heat by radiation is the heat which we get from the sun. Okay. Now we know that the sun is, you can see in this picture, the sun is very far away from us. And there is a vacuum between the sun and earth. Even then the heat from the sun reaches the earth. Now this heat, it cannot take place by conduction or convection, because for conduction and convection they both require a medium. And we know there is vacuum between sun and earth. So definitely the heat from the sun reaches the earth by the process of radiation. So let's see what happens over here. Sun is an extremely hot object, okay, and it gives out heat radiations in all directions. So these heat radiations, it will travel through vacuum at a very high speed and reach us on the earth. So when the sun's radiation falls on the earth, they receive heat energy and hence get heated. So the sun's heat reaches the earth by the process of radiation. Now in our day-to-day life, we have many situations where heat is transferred by radiation through a medium called air. So let us look at the example. The first one is, you can see a fire, okay? You can say bonfire. Now, when we stand next to a burning fire, we can feel the heat of the fire on a fire falling on our face. So over here, the heat is transferred from the fire to our face by the process of radiation. The second example, you can see a man is sitting in a room and there's a heater. So when we sit in front of a room heater, we get the heat directly from the heater by the process of radiation. You can see a vessel, okay, it's a hot vessel. A hot utensil is kept away from the flame to cool down. Okay, so the hot vessel cools down by transferring the heat to its surroundings by radiation. Now, it is said that the amount of heat which an object absorbs depends on the color of the object. Okay? The objects having dark colors absorb more heat radiations than the objects having light color. A common example, you can see solar cooker. The box of solar cooker is painted black from inside because black absorbs more heat radiations coming from the sun. In winter season, people prefer to wear dark color clothes because dark color clothes absorb more heat radiations, or they absorb more heat rays from the sun and keep us warm during the winter season. In summer season, people prefer to wear white color clothes or light colored clothes. Why? Because white or light colored clothes reflect most of the sun's heat falling on them, and this helps to keep us cool and comfortable during summer season. Okay, so today we have learned conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, these are the three modes of transfer of heat. Now Why do we wear woolen clothes in winter? Definitely woolen clothes keep us warm. We know that wool is a poor conductor of heat. So it will stop the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings. Now there are tiny spaces in this woolen fiber. Okay, so more air is trapped in between these fibers. And we know air is a poor conductor of heat. So, this trapped air in between the fibers, it will stop the flow of heat from our body to the surroundings, and thus it keeps us warm. Now, if given a choice in winter season, would you use one thick blanket or two thin blankets? Okay, joined together. So, which one will you prefer? One thick woolen blanket or two thin woolen blankets joined together? So, definitely we will say we will take one thick blanket, but if a choice is given, we should go for two thin woolen blankets joined together. Why so? Like when we use two thin woolen blankets joined together, they will have a layer of air trapped in between them. This extra layer of air will prevent our body heat from going away to the cold air. Single thick blanket does not have this extra layer of air. So we should we should use two thin woolen blankets joined together. So today we studied about transfer of heat, that is conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, I hope you have understood. Thank you, children.